Hey there, welcome to another episode of History with Elroy. Today is July 3rd. You probably already knew that, but if you didn't, well, you're welcome. Hopefully you don't have an appointment or something. That wouldn't be good. You probably don't, but I digress. Well, see, the thing is, today I want to tell you about the Battle of Gettysburg. Now, this battle was fought in the American Civil War from July 1st to July 3rd in 1863. And the two armies that fought in it, one was called the Union Army, or the Army of the Potomac, and that was led by General George Meade, and there were about 80,000 of them. And the other army was the Confederate Army, and there were about 70,000 of them, and they were led by General Robert E. Lee. Now, the reason that this battle is so important, well, there are a couple reasons. But the main reason it's so important is because it is widely considered the turning point of the American Civil War. Now, you see, up to this point, the Confederates have been doing quite well. And they had decided, their government had decided, that they would draft a letter. And if Lee was able to go and beat up the Union Army again, then they would have the letter delivered to Abraham Lincoln. And it was terms of peace. And you see, a lot of people in the North didn't want the war to continue anymore. So if the Union had had another big defeat, then they would have definitely put a lot of pressure on Lincoln to take the terms. And it would be very different today because we would have the northern states, like the Union, and that would be one country, and we would have the southern states, like the Confederacy, and that would be another one. But you see, we don't have that because the Confederacy did not win the battle. Now, what's interesting about the Battle of Gettysburg is both sides actually almost lost the same amount of people. There is a difference, and it's quite a big difference. It's like 5,000. But at the end of the day, their losses were pretty similar. But the Confederacy had less people or soldiers to pull from. So it was a big defeat for them. One of the other reasons that the Battle of Gettysburg is remembered is because it is the bloodiest battle of the Civil War with 50,000 casualties. That's a whole lot of people, and it's really sad. You know, the thing that is so tragic about the Battle of Gettysburg and in the Civil War in general is that you had brothers fighting against brothers and friends fighting against friends. Can you imagine that? If you have a brother and then suddenly you're fighting each other and like wanting to hurt each other? Or if you had a friend, a good friend that you hang out with and you play games with and you eat cupcakes with. I like cupcakes, but mainly if they're chocolate. But can you imagine if you usually play games but then suddenly you are on different sides and you fight each other? It really is a tragedy. And that is the saddest thing about Gettysburg. But one other thing that Gettysburg is very much remembered for is something that happened actually several months later in November. On November 19th, President Abraham Lincoln arrived in Gettysburg and he gave the Gettysburg Address. Now, the Gettysburg Address was actually a very short speech, only 272 words, which is very short. But it was very profound and it helped bring everybody together to finish the war and have the Union win. It boosted morale, you could say. Well, see, I hope that you learned something today about the Battle of Gettysburg. The thing is, history has a lot of awesome things in it, but sometimes it has very sad things in it. It has big battles like this, where friends and brothers fought one another. And it's sad. But it can be an encouragement to us as we live today to love one another and to want to help one another. because we don't want another Gettysburg. Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode of History with Elroy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.